So those who are still outside, if you can come in, then we start. Great. Good morning, everyone. Mwaramutse. Madam Guest of Honor, the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Uwamaria Valentin, Honorable Minister of State in charge of Economic Planning, Dr. Claudine Uwera, Your Excellency Joanna Tig, Ambassador of Sweden to Kigali, dear board members of the University of Rwanda, you are Vice Chancellor, guest Vice Chancellors from different universities in Sweden and also in Rwanda, University of Rwanda's senior management officials, Lord Mayor of the City of Kigali, distinguished delegates of the entire event, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Good morning. Allow me to take you through the program that we are going to implement now for this particular session. For your information, Honorable Minister and Guest of Honor, we had a very fruitful session yesterday, which was focusing mainly on various discussions on different thematic areas, including climate change, food security, agriculture. We had also another session that reflected on health, and another specific session that was also reflecting on gender in science and leadership. All these different thematic areas, some of the common areas were to discuss the journey or the transformational journey that we have come as a country, but also looking at the contribution of research and human capacity development. As you are aware, we are reflecting on the 20 years of collaboration between UR and Sweden, trying to understand what were the challenges in the past, what are the impacts, and what will be the future perspectives in terms of further collaboration. And this has a very strong impact when it comes to socio-economic transformation, which is one of the central themes. Today again, this morning, we were able to have some visitors visiting the memorial site for the genocide against Tutsi, they had a session to go through the history of Rwanda, which also give a certain pace of linking the history and also the discussions we had yesterday. Today we are going to have another session after the session of opening remarks and official opening of this event, a session that is going to reflect on the social cohesion in Rwanda, which is going also to link the discussion we had this morning and also to put all this into perspective of history, but also future prospects as far as socioeconomic transformation is concerned. We are also glad to have another presentation that is going to touch using some figures and facts to tell us where Rwanda was in the last 20 years. And this is going to reflect the economic transformation, but also giving another attention how this growth is also taking care of different categories of people through the programs that the government has been implementing to include all categories of Rwandans. So that session is also to happen, Honorable Guest of Honor, for the interest of all participants, but also more specifically for our guests who are not familiar with the Rwandan context, and some of them, it's their first time to be here. And then we have also in the afternoon a session where some visitors will be at the Nosken Center of Innovation, also reflecting the role of the government in supporting small and medium enterprises. This is going to happen in this afternoon as we wind up the day, and there is also a dinner that is reserved for some guests who are invited to the residence of the Ambassador of Sweden in Rwanda. Honorable Guest of Honor, allow me to invite the Vice Chancellor of the University of Rwanda to give us his remarks.
Madam Guest of Honor, the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Uwamariya Valentine, Honorable Minister of State in charge of Economic Planning, Dr. Claudine Uwera, Your Excellency Johanna Teg, Ambassador of Sweden to Kigali, the Lord Mayor, City of Kigali, Mr. Prudence Rubingisa, Vice Chancellors, and Deputy Vice Chancellors from Swedish partner institutions and universities, and from the Deputy Vice Chancellors of the University of Rwanda. You are board members, senior government officials here present, University of Rwanda senior management officials, the current and those that we replaced, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning, and it is my greatest pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this celebration event jointly organized by the University of Rwanda and the Swedish Embassy in Kigali to mark 20 years of a fruitful cooperation between Rwanda and Sweden. Thank you all for responding and positively to our invitation. This cooperation that started as just a humanitarian intervention by a friendly country, Sweden, in early 2000, has gradually and amazingly evolved into a transformative knowledge vehicle that has significantly and continuously contributed to the nation building. This is exactly why we are here since yesterday. We are here today, and we will be here tomorrow just to celebrate. We wanted to have a space, a moment to reflect upon the milestones of our partnership's achievements together, and more importantly, to appreciate each other and to have a moment to say thank you to you all. Let us feel good about what has been achieved recount the highlights of the satisfying journey that Rwanda and Sweden have trodden together in this partnership as we look ahead with belief that its fruits will continue and multiply through reproduction. I will probably not have enough time to go into the details of the achievements because I think they were given due justice yesterday through the excellent presentation that was made by the DVC, Dr. Raymond, where we saw both in capacity building but also in research and where we are in terms of that development. As one of the greatest African thinker and writer, Chinua Achebe, said in his great book, Things Fall Apart, he said that proverbs are palm oils with which words are eaten. I will borrow some quotes, and I will start with the one from Sarah McLean's words, where she said, and I quote, "The best partnerships aren't dependent on a mere common goal, but rather on a shared path of equality, desire, and no small amount of passion." End of quote. Together, I will take another quote from Henry Ford, who also once said, I quote, "Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress. And working together is success." End of quote. On behalf of the university community, university family, the University of Rwanda's family, which is, in this context, the larger family of the University of Rwanda, I wish to thank each and every one of you, our dear partners, for having believed in us, trusted, and shared with us the path of equality, desire, and all the amounts of passion that have led us achieve and get where we are today. We got together, we stayed together, and here we are, still walking and working together. Out of our hard times, those of you who have been with us at the Kigali Memorial site, you have seen where we came from. But that was the right moment when you, as great partners, as great friends, came in and gave your hand into our development ambitions. You emerged a reliable friend to lean on in such difficult moments. And today, whoever comes to Kigali, whoever comes to the University of Rwanda, may not necessarily remember where we were then when, as we got introduced to that last evening by Professor Emile, who took us through briefly on how it started. You cannot believe we were there because probably you see where we are today. Conducting research for social transformation in Rwanda, the theme of this celebration, has always been our ultimate motive. This is particularly the approach which Sweden was attracted to in the first place, that our partnership sought to deliver research capacities among Rwandans to be used in this country's development. We feel excited to see that people trained through the UR Sweden program are valuable enablers now, some of whom are great policymakers and others are great entrepreneurs and are accessing vital knowledge needed to make informed decisions from those works that are being done through these partnerships. These modern times require modern knowledge that inform not only policymakers but whoever is committed to development. If the Rwandan economy is going to grow even faster in the future, it will require consistent investments in research and professional skills development. There is no doubt, and there is no any other assurance for the way forward to reach to that sustainable development goals that we all crave for other than through research and training. Let me take this opportunity to thank most sincerely the various Swedish universities who have partnered with us, the University of Rwanda, all through this time. As we all know, the partnership started with the former National University of Rwanda, but the partnership, working together, did not stop by the reforms that were made. When we got merged with all other public higher learning institutions, our partners kept with us, and we are still together. You are the reason we are now proud to have the eight PhDs and over 300 master's graduates. As you were taken through yesterday, those of you who were here, we learned that many more, close to the same numbers, are still ongoing. I mean, they are undertaking their trainings in those different programs, and many research projects have been funded and completed, and many more are still ongoing. Looking at how it all started, if someone had said to me in 2002 that 20 years from then we would be seated here rightly bragging about this huge milestone, I would never have taken them seriously. But now, here we are. And if these figures that we've just mentioned, that were presented thoroughly yesterday, would surprise you, I think, let me make it even more pleasant for every one of you, that at the moment, there are over 100 students undertaking different degree programs at different stages of their academic journeys under the sponsorship of Rwanda-Sweden cooperation. And besides the capacity building contribution through training, this partnership has directly and incomparably contributed to research endeavors at the University of Rwanda through availing grants, research grants, And as was clearly presented yesterday, in all of the 4 phases we have gone through in our partnership, almost all academic disciplines have been covered. This also presents the uniqueness of this wonderful partnership. As we all know, with the University of Rwanda or the former institutions independently, we had so many other partners who would come in, support, but in their particular disciplines, and they leave after a while. You have still been with us. We cherish that. Going forward, we see our partnership growing even stronger and deeper with the continued and gracious support from CEDA, but also, and more importantly, that we have now even developed stronger institutional ties with each other, with each and every one of our Swedish partner institutions individually, due to those networks that have been producing networks spanning from student-supervisor relationships to research cluster friendships, and now the level of senior management friendships and networks. Madam Guest of Honor, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude my remarks, I want to immensely thank Her Excellency Johanna Teg, the Ambassador of Sweden to Rwanda, co-organizer of this event, and of course her team for the wonderful support and commitment to having this event happen, and in fashion and the stature as it is today. I also wish to thank all colleagues, of course, who were highly involved in the preparation of this event, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, Professor Alfred, and all the committee members for having done this tremendous job to have us all gathered here. Once again, on behalf of the University of Rwanda, I will renew our firm commitment to remain a reliable partner that shall always endeavor to sustain and nurture our relationships to last and long as our respective institutions shall wish it to be. We commit to always get the best out of the good resources Rwanda and Sweden or the individual bilateral partnerships invest in this relationship. And it gives me confidence to state it in the presence of our leaders and our most valuable partners from Swedish universities, and before you, Honorable Minister of Education. I know we shall be held to account for that. Before I conclude again, I wanted to recognize our former rectors and vice chancellors who are in the room, because each and every one of them played a role in sustaining this relationship. Permit me, I know it will take a little bit of time, but bear with me. I'll start obviously with, shall I call him the founder of this relationship, Professor Emile Rwamasirabo. May you please raise. Thank you so much. I think after you, Prof. Wakawamba, you came next. Please, those were the rectors. I think after him, there was another, now, after him, there was a merger into now the University of Rwanda. They were former rectors of the National University of Rwanda. After him, after Prof. Wakabamba, the first vice chancellor was of the University of Rwanda, now the merged institutions, was Makwa, Prof. Makwa, who is not here. And after him was Professor Cotton, Phil Cotton. I don't know whether he has managed to, he was supposed to be with us. I think he's not in the room. And after him, we had Dr. Papias. Please raise for recognition. Thank you. And after him was Prof. Jambabaje, I think. Thank you so much. And after him, interimly, there was someone else. And after him, I think someone else who is before you came in. But also, the Lord Mayor was the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of finance. And please, Lord Mayor, yes, he also contributed. Ambassador Murigande is in the room, I think. Ambassador Murigande was the DVC for institutional advancement, and he played a significant role in the phase 4. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I want to also introduce Ambassador Christine, who was there in Sweden for us. She's in the room. Ambassador, please raise for recognition. At least she's representing many other ambassadors who were in Sweden also working hard to sustain this relationship. And of course, Ambassador Diane, who is there currently, who has fought so hard to have even this event having the face it is having now. We recognize her even though she's not here in the room, but I think I saw Butera in the room representing our embassy. Where are you, Butera? Yes, Butera is there behind. Thank you so much. I know with a relationship like this, so many people played a significant role, but I cannot be able to mention each and every one of them. I'm sorry for those I have not mentioned. All of you in the room, just know that you have in one way or the other contributed, added a stone or two to the construction of this relationship. Or maybe if it is not a stone or a brick, there was cement to be added, at least to have the firm relationship in place as it is. So thank you everyone for turning up in respect of our humble invitation. And once again, I'm greatly indebted to the organizing committee for making this event really colorful and successful, at least to my conviction. I wish our guests from outside Rwanda and a more pleasant experience during our stay here. I'm sure those of you who are in Kigali, the Lord Mayor is here to assure you that you will enjoy more of Kigali's life. May God bless you all, and I thank you so much all for your kind attention. Thank you. Oh, maybe before I conclude, I'm sorry. I know there are different vice chancellors from our partner institutions from Sweden, but I think you have another partner in the room who is not from Sweden, who is from the region, the rector from Eduardo Mondrane. Would you please raise for recognition? I know you've just arrived, but you managed to come. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for responding to our invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, for these very good remarks and then also bringing us to the context and also shaping the understanding of why we are here. A speech that has ended by recognizing the contribution of everyone. I may say that it's good that everyone is recognized. And remember that this 20 years of collaboration is not just the end. This is, I think, the beginning. From what I heard from the speech from the Vice Chancellor. It's 20 years that we have done so far, but we still have more years to come. So we'll need more confirmation from the Ambassador, Her Excellency Ambassador Joanna from the Swedish Embassy. If you can come here and give us your remarks, that would be great to hear such confirmation.
Dear Minister of Education, Dr. Valentin Uwamaria, Dear Minister of State, responsible for economic planning, Dr. Claudine Owera, Dear Lord Mayor, Dr. Prudence Rubingisa, Dear Vice Chancellor of the UR, Dr. Didas Kayura Moganga, present and former VCs and colleagues of the UR and board members, dear VCs, deputy VCs and representatives from Swedish universities, dear representatives from SIDA, Ulf Kjellstig, deputy DG, och Kerstin Jonsson CC, head of research cooperation. Last and not least, dear researchers and friends of Sweden, partners and colleagues, good morning. We are here to celebrate 20 years of research cooperation between Rwanda and Sweden. 20 years. Let it sink in for a moment. 20 years is a long time. It's also, somewhat contradictorily, a flick of a moment. Rwanda was a very different country in 2002 when this partnership was launched. Recently, having come out from the genocide against the Tutsi. An impressive journey has taken place since then, and this program has been part of that wondrous adventure. Sweden is so fortunate to have had and to keep having the opportunity to partner up with Rwanda around human capital development, the very core of society and basis for nation building. What started as a traditional aid program is beautifully transforming into a mutual learning and growth opportunity based on a clear understanding that to face today's challenges, we need to come together. We need each other. Looking back, we have a lot to celebrate. More than 300 master's students and 88 PhD students have graduated from this partnership over the years. Behind those numbers, there are individuals, mothers and fathers who have left kids and beloved ones, confronted with the Swedish ways of being and Swedish weather. There are public servants in Rwanda, in Sweden, making sure the conditions are there for research to take place. It takes a lot of courage, determination, and grit to choose this path and to follow through. I salute all of you for what you represent and what you have achieved. Almost all graduates have chosen to return to Rwanda, going on to contribute to Rwanda's transformational path and ambitious development agenda. It makes me proud to know that there are graduates who hold important positions in key institutions and to know that irrespective of where you are, you have chosen to come back to give back. This brain gain is gold worth. The solidarity with and love for Rwanda is something that I deeply appreciate and respect. The university, similarly, has made an amazing development trajectory. Today, there's one solid public university of Rwanda. There are now local PhD programs and an increasing focus on impact, innovation, and entrepreneurship. The university is a key player in driving Rwanda's development agenda, not least regarding current priorities, such as vaccine manufacturing and global health, the fight against stunting, ensuring equal rights between women and men, and making energy sustainable and accessible to all, to mention a few. On the global scene, Rwanda is known for its drive, resource focus, and conviction of evidence-based decision-making. In today's world of fake news and wishful thinking, the world needs role models that stand up for science and objective truth. Research, needless to say, is central for this approach, and so is Rwanda. Looking back, I appreciate how SIDA has provided guidance, stability, and long-term commitment to this journey. I'm thankful for the keen interest of our Swedish universities to join the partnership, now amounting to 14 Swedish universities and more knocking on the door. Over the years, we have of course made mistakes. We've had tough conversations and learnings to do. We've had to adapt and overcome. The beauty is that we are not defined by the mistakes we make, but how we rise to challenging times and by our belief in one another and determination to act resolutely. Today, because of this, we stand stronger together, based on trust and respect. Looking forward, we have work to do. It's time to leverage on our multiple bonds and joint interest to explore new forms of partnerships. Partnerships that are self-sustained and of mutual interest. I'm pleased to see that it's already happening. I'm excited by the many opportunities that I have witnessed in recent weeks and months. In a flick of a moment, another 20 years will have passed. Where do we want to be in 20 years from now? And what steps do we need to take these days as we continue to walk the road together? It's my ask to all of you that we make good use of these days, not only to celebrate achievements, and yay, we have achievements to celebrate, but also to bounce ideas, to ask the sky is the limit questions, and to explore and define concrete steps as we take our partnership to the new level. Speak to people you don't know, be inspired, get new perspectives, and form new alliances. I'm humbled by the process so far, and I'm excited by the outlook for the coming 20 years. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Ambassador. And I think we have had the confirmation that we need to look for the next 20 years. Can we clap for that? Great. I've been also requested by the Vice Chancellor to extend the recognition by inviting all visitors from different universities from Sweden. If you can raise up and wave the audience, from universities, research institutions from Sweden. Great, thank you very much. We've also been requested to request guests and visitors, participants from CEDA who are supporting this great activity and also the program itself. Great, thank you. Thank you again. So we want also to invite those from other universities in Africa, apart from Rwanda. Yes. Great, thank you. So those from other universities in Rwanda, apart from UR, if you can raise for recognition, yes. You have the Vice Chancellor, who was also the Deputy Coordinator for the UR-SIDA Corporation at the University of Rwanda. Let me also invite those from University of Rwanda in all your levels and capabilities to raise for recognition as well. Yes. Great. We have also in our midst the officials from government, working from different government entities, of course, apart from the ministers. We already have them on board. Yes, welcome. We have DG, different deputy DG. So I think everyone is recognized. The team, the technical team, can you raise up for recognition as well? Yes. So, yes, VC. You know, it's very easy to forget, not by having this by intention. The director of stint, if you can raise also for recognition. Okay. Everyone feel that you are recognized. And welcome to Kigali and also particularly to the University of Rwanda. Allow me, Madam Guest of Honor, to portray a short video that is going to also add value to the previous two speeches we have heard from the Vice Chancellor and also the Ambassador, Her Excellency Joanna. So technical team, you can help us to project that short video that is going to give us other insights on how this program started, what are the impacts, and what do they see those who have provided their opinion will be the future area for cooperation and collaboration. You're welcome.
The year 2000, we were still in the immediate post-genocide Rwanda. Of course, you can imagine the situation was very difficult for everybody, and especially for higher education institutions. What you see here in terms of policies, higher education policies, what you see in terms of higher education institutions, programs, the situation was different.
You know, as everybody knows, in 1994, genocide befell our country and destroyed all sectors of our life, including the education. When in 1995, the government decided to reopen the National University of Rwanda, it was like an act of faith because almost 80 to 90% of the former lecturers were either killed or had fled the country. Very few of them had reported back.
Now, by that time, there was quite a number of things which was not correct for the university. For example, normally for a good university, you need at least 50% of staff members to have PhDs.
Sweden Corporation came and found us really in that acute situation.
As we had done with the Belgian Corporation, with the Francophonie, we also asked Sweden to support us in developing human resources. That's how the UR Sweden program was conceived.
It wasn't very easy because we did not have lots of partners that were willing to assist the government at large, but the university in particular.
The number of PhDs then was very, very low. There was not so much publications from staff members because they were not doing so much research. We didn't have access to international journals. So even if they wanted to do research, they couldn't access journals very easily. In order to access journals, mostly from e-journals, you needed good internet. We didn't have enough internet. We needed somebody to assist us or to get some resources to revamp our internet capacity.
The program was starting in 2003. That was 2 years after I graduated on a master's program in Laval University in Canada in land use planning and rural development. Then a team of professors from Gothenburg arrived searching for candidates to apply for environmental studies.
Because Rwanda had started in the year 2000 to use ICT for economic development. We did not have enough manpower to manage this. So we were lucky that SUDA came in.
The University of Rwanda subscribed to its first internet through this program. So far until very recently, the majority of the budget going to library to develop e-journals and library capacity, which you can't do research without, has been supported by UR Sweden program.
It started when we thought it was a partnership like any other, small, about targeting certain areas of training and research, capacity building. But over the years, it has grown that big, and so it has cross-cutting kind of approach in almost all disciplines, research and capacity building. It goes into social sciences, it goes into pure sciences, and like this is in medical, in health sciences.
I think it's probably one of the few programs that has made a great impact on education in Rwanda.
The program has made a strong impact in almost all areas of our university. I would say that the development that we are witnessing in our country is not foreign to the impact of UR Sweden program in Rwanda.
Obviously, we have, not only did we get good capacities in the universities, but some of these people were taken out to be leaders, national leaders. As I said, even ministers. Most of these people came from that program.
Personal level, this program has contributed a lot of things. After graduation, I was able to work in public sector, whereby I contributed in ICT, in education. And at the same time, I was able to teach at the University of Rwanda. And even now, I'm using what I have acquired from my studies to be able to do my job here.
The PhD program, my PhD studies actually contributed to my academic identity. Following the PhD achievement, I joined many professional networks, especially those who read my work, my publications. And I think it also helped me to understand particular presentation of the disease that I worked on, diabetes, especially in undernourished population.
Yeah, the program contributed mainly for teaching my student at former National University of Rwanda before merging with other higher learning institutions.
You'll be surprised to note that some of those who graduated from that program some years ago, and you remember we are celebrating 20 years, some of them are big people in government, and they are now sitting in decision-making offices of some ministers, director generals in different institutions in all disciplines.
The majority of people who are working with the program, they are researchers. And where do they get the questions, the question they do research on? They are getting them from the community, whether it is the disease for the banana, whether we are talking about the issue of maternal health. So the question that are being tackled, they are all questions that you can see are affecting the community and are related to the issues.
See the program, the Swedish people are positive. They are dedicated to help, and they are positive. And it's very easy to agree with them, to negotiate with them and agree with them, and come up with a proposal which they look through and suggest modifications accordingly. So I found it very easy to work with the Swedish people, especially under the CEDA program.
I think what is impressed me about this program, it is open. I mean, the Swedish counterparts open. They hear, they listen to us, what we want, where we want to go, and they go along with us. That's not very common.
From different domains that are around me, from the people I've been interacting with, I have seen great success from ICT, obviously, and secondary in agriculture. I've seen colleagues excelling a lot in environment. I also have seen colleagues in medicine that were doing great research and are contributing a lot basically in different hospitals.
I learned that around 88 people have graduated, have completed their PhD in Sweden. This is a great contribution, and they are now teaching, they are publishing papers. If we go on Google and you check on academic website, you see papers published by Rwandans. Some of them graduated in Sweden.
I think it was really a great program because I had support from my family, from the program coordinators, and from the country, which promotes women in the scientific framework. So I think this was really a great program. And another thing is that it had flexibility in the choice of the topic, of the research topic, which addressed the particular question to our setting.
Having that partner who stands with you all the time, it's really a show of commitment.
We are now trying to build the local capacity of supervising PhDs, and of course the more we do that, the more we also establish internal capacities to even prepare those grants. And where need be, we contact our partner institution there to jointly submit for funding in whichever funding institution, and like not necessarily going through CEDA or going through the project as it was said, but the partnerships we are having with these individual institutions to get that enhanced.
setting the context of where we are here, but also reflecting on the impacts of the program and the cooperation, but also the views on future perspective where the focus should be. And also one statement that also keeps coming is that Swedish are very open, willing to cooperate with us. I may say that this is also a task for us Rwandans to also continue to strengthen our relationship and also continue to build this strong relationship for the next 20 years and more. If you allow, dear Madam Guest of Honor, you may come forward and give your remarks for the official opening. You're welcome.
Honorable Minister of State, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Sweden to Rwanda, Vice Chancellor, current one, and former Vice Chancellors and Rectors, senior government officials here present, Deputy Vice Chancellors, distinguished delegates at this event, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. Please allow me to deliver the following remarks on behalf of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, who wished to join us in today's celebration but couldn't make it because of other commitments. But also, I think my remarks will be made, will be a kind of summary of what was just displayed on the screen here, because it is around what has been done, how it is started, what are the achievements, and even those who did not benefit from this specific partnership directly, I think we were somehow benefiting from it indirectly, because most of us in this room, I think we are the product of this great university, and I'm so glad to be together with my former rectors. When they were giving their remarks on the screen, I kept reminding myself how I joined the former University of Rwanda, National University of Rwanda. We started with those who were showing us the way. Even the former National University of Rwanda was displayed on the screen. It kept reminding me all those steps we went through, and allow me to say thank you to those who helped us to travel all this journey. I think it brings some emotions, because we know where we came from and where we are today. And we feel so grateful for both the partners we are together with today, but also to our government that supported us to go through. It is with great pleasure that I join you today as we celebrate 20 good years of bilateral research cooperation between Rwanda and Sweden, a cooperation which has achieved tremendous results in terms of capacity building and research promotion. With this, I would like to thank the government of Sweden, here represented by Her Excellency, the Ambassador, Joanna Teg, for being among the first partner countries to respond to our country's call for support. As already said by former rectors, Rwanda's human resource and knowledge base had been depleted after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. As we all know, this tragedy caused massive losses to the already weak human resource base. a significant percentage of the qualified staff had either been killed or were themselves participants in the killings, thus had fled the country or were in custody. It is such decisions, like the one Sweden took, that paved the way to a strong and lasting friendship and partnership of countries. As the Vice Chancellor rightly put it, you are the reason we are here celebrating, among others, 88 PhDs and 300 master's graduates. I'm particularly happy to speak on this special occasion, coming from the Minister of Education to celebrate the UR Sweden Program for Research, Higher Education, and Institutional Advancement. As the Minister of Education, therefore, I would like to commend the University of Rwanda for the transformational journey traveled. Starting by responding to the call by the government of Rwanda to increase the enrollment in universities, while qualified teaching staff were still few. By that time, only 66 PhD holders at the university by then, and conducting only basic research. Today, the university is more into quality education with impactful research promotion, aiming at excellency. We now have over 400 PhD holders in the university. The sought after quality education and excellence in research could not have climbed to the level it is today without a deliberate decision of the government of Rwanda to sensitize investors into the sector. Encouraging the establishment of higher learning institutions to support in producing the needed human resources and permit the University of Rwanda to move to this next phase of chasing excellence was the intention. And to the pursuit of one of its goals to become a research-led university, well positioned to respond to the major social, economic, and environmental challenges became the strongest ambition. Indeed, in 2018, the University of Rwanda adopted its theory of change with the assumption that the building of research capacity and research training was rooted in strong institutional support that provides a conducive research environment for production of high-quality research undertaken by its academic staff. Another assumption is that highly trained academics will incorporate their knowledge and research findings into teaching and will carry out more research and community interactions that apply research findings. The Ministry of Education strongly supports the University of Rwanda on its journey, as we together believe that research is a key ingredient. Its medium and long-term outcome contributes to national development, poverty eradication, and socio-economic transformation of Rwanda. As we celebrate today the tremendous achievements, I would like to request all of us here to commit to the sustenance of these achievements, strengthen even more the already solid partnership in place, and explore further how this cooperation can bear more fruits. Taking innovation to another level, while continuing to conduct impactful research, should be the goal. The ministry will play its part on its challenging but appealing journey, worthy of undertaking. The government of Rwanda recognizes the contribution of the UR Sweden program has played thus far and will continue to play in terms of capacity building. The fact is, there are now a number of government officials that benefited from this program when they were still your staff members. Today, the university graciously donated them to the government, knowing the role of government in their career progression. Let me conclude my note by thanking you all for this formidable partnership. Congratulations for the achievements recorded so far, and we look forward to come to even more milestones. To all our guests, I wish you a pleasant stay in this beautiful city of Kigali, and I also wish you all a colorful celebration. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Guest of Honor, Honorable Minister. I think we can add another round of applause for this very useful speech and remarks. Without further ado, allow me to invite the Vice Chancellor of the University of Rwanda. I think he's surprised to come over. And Honorable Minister, Guest of Honor, if you allow, you can come again here. There is a surprise. Allow me also to invite the High Excellency, the Ambassador, Joanna Tech, and Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Claudine. Yes, you can come here. It was not on the agenda, but bear with me. So we're doing some rehearsal for the song we are going to sing. So I think who is going to sing bass or tenor, I don't know, but you will hear. So for this time, we want to take this opportunity to extend the recognition for some people and also institutions that have contributed over the last 4 phases that we talked about. I'll be calling the person, and then you come forward, or the person representing the institution or the university that is being cited, and then you take a picture with these 4 guests of honors. Allow me to invite Professor Emile Gwamasirabo for your recognition. It's a round of applause again. It's very important. So for other protocols, since we have Dr. Alice here, who is the wife, I think it's very important to have this picture as well. If you can come over quickly. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we are going to have also the rest of the institutions. We have the Swedish International Development Corporation, Agency SIDA. The one who is representing SIDA who is with us, please come forward for recognition. So, good. Thank you. May I invite Vice Chancellor representing Göteborg University? Thank you very much. May I invite also the Vice Chancellor representing Lyköping University or representative? Okay, maybe he's not present. We can give this to the ambassador, and then she will help us to deliver this. Thank you very much for your humble gesture. So may I invite someone representing Lyköping University? Allow me with the names, maybe Lyköping University. This one, okay. Lyköping University. So, Swedish University of Agricultural Science, the delegate representing the university. So we tried to look all the universities. Some may not be here, but we'll make sure that they get this recognition. We have also someone representing Rebro University. Sorry. Sorry. So there is a mixture maybe of the gifts. We are trying to sort the names to ensure that so I have also to say that those who are receiving these gifts, it's for the representation of other people who have contributed. This does not mean that the one who is receiving the gift is the one only contributing to this achievement. So this is basically for all those who have contributed. Like the one received by Professor Emil is to represent all vice chancellors who have contributed to this great achievement. Finally, we managed to find it. Great, thank you. May I also invite someone representing Rebro University? Very quickly. And also, as we still will request the ambassador again to take this gift for recognition. Then we have also Blanking Institute of Technology. Great. And Lund University. Someone representing Lund University? Yes. So, thank you. So, thank you. Great. Can we acknowledge by a big applause again? We still have many, don't be. And then we have also someone representing the Stockholm University. Stockholm. Yes, please. Great. Someone representing the KTH Royal Institute of Technology. We have the Vice Chancellor here, the President. Great. So we have someone representing Chalmers University. Thank you. We also invite someone representing Karolinska Institute. So I'm told that we have also other universities that have. Great. Great. Thank you very much. So, I'm told there are other 4 universities that are recognized in absentia. They're not here. We have the Umeå University, University of Borås, Uppsala University, and then we have also Sodaton University. So we have their gifts. To save time, we will make sure that we handle them to the embassy so that they can also be delivered to them. Do we have someone from? Okay. Yes, take that one. Which one? So, Boris University, say. So we have someone from Uppsala University as well? Yes, please, come. Yo, Benton. Okay. Eh? Soda Tan, yes, you see? Let's call them. This is Sodaton University. Uppsala first, and then Sodaton University. Oh, so we have also Lidköping University. Yes, we have the gift also for Lidköping University. So we have someone who can also take this gift on the behalf of the institute. Great. Sodaton University. And then we have also someone from Lidköping University. Sorry for the, yes. So we have also Lidköping University. Great. So we have also the Lidköping University. Joe? Sorry for the pronunciation. Maybe next year I will be able to pronounce that. Do we have Lidköping University? Okay, we give it to the ambassador again. Sorry. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you again for your help and also for this activity. We really appreciate. Is there anyone remaining? Give me the name. Quickly. I think there are 2 remaining. Sorry. Orebro University. Is someone from Orebro University? Yes, thank you. So we have also Umea University. Umea. Is someone from... It's called... Okay. So we can hand over this to the ambassador again. Blaking Institute. Do we have someone from Blaking Institute of Technology? I'd announced this before. Someone from Blaking Institute of Technology. Okay, we hand over this to the ambassador again. Sorry, we have many gifts, ambassador. Great. Okay, so we give this to the ambassador. Great. Great, thank you very much. I think we are done with this session. Thank you, Honorable Ministers, and Your Excellency Ambassador, Vice Chancellor. Thank you. Thank you for this. Give another round of applause for this event. Great. So as we continue to the next session, may I request a bit to stand up, to stretch like 1 or 2 minutes since you have been sitting, and then we continue with the next session. How do we stretch? So can you try to get a Swedish partner if you are from Rwanda? Try to get a Swedish partner. At least. Are you able? No. I'm going to tell you what we are going to do. Get a Swedish partner. I'm sure some are going to be polygamous. Okay, we are going to stretch a bit. Can you raise our hands as we stretch them? And then say, together we made it. 1, 2, 3. Together. Number 2, we are going to say, together we are going to make it. For the next 20 years. Okay, a quick one again. Great. Let's make applause as I invite Dr. Muref to come and take us through the next session, which is going to reflect on the social cohesion, which also is more linked to the session we had this morning. That was also meant to take some of our visitors through the history that the country has gone through. So Dr. Muref is a senior lecturer of law at the University of Rwanda, but also he's the principal. He's a acting principal of the College of Arts and Social Sciences, University of Rwanda. He's going to take us through this session, and then we have also a panel that is going to discuss. Feel free to grasp a cup of tea, coffee, for those who still need it, and then come in the room as we continue. Thank you. The floor is yours, Dr. Muref.
I think people will first grab coffee or tea if you announced it.
Thank you. Let's come back to the room. So I'm told that maybe let's invite Dr. Mrev to come and start with the next session. Please, may you sit down, those who are in the room.
I may now take the mic. We've been asked to talk about social cohesion after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. In this session, we structured our discussion in a way that combines keynote speech and the panel discussion, where I will be both the keynote speaker and a moderator of the panel. So the two will be kind of interwoven, where in the middle of the keynote speech, I will be pausing to ask some questions. All those questions are structured in a manner that contributes to the keynote speech. In the process, we hope that we will describe the Rwanda's path to social cohesion, indicating successes and challenges. In the same process, our whole discussion, we will attempt to link different research projects that were conducted through the support of UR Sweden program to this journey of Rwanda's reconstruction. So before I proceed to the actual discussion, allow me to first invite our panelists to take their seats. I will start with Dr. Emmanuel Hachizimana. So you may come forward. Emmanuel Hachizimana is a research analyst at the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement. He is educated in social work. So you may have your seat. The second panelist is Dr. Ajay Hyakamugabe. He is a senior lecturer and director of the Center for Conflict Management at the University of Rwanda. He is educated in communication, peace studies, and conflict transformation. The third panelist is Dr. Peter John Mugume. He is a lecturer, research, and coordinator of postgraduate program at the Center for Conflict Management of the University of Rwanda. He is educated in peace, development, and social change. Our fourth member of the panel is Mrs. Emanuela Mahoro. He is a trained clinical psychologist, a narrative therapy, and community work practitioner, expert in traumatology, co-founder of Caring for Impact organization. She is educated in clinical psychology and therapeutics. In our discussion, social cohesion is understood as the extent of connectedness and solidarity among groups in society. It is about the strength of relationships and the sense of solidarity among members of a community. Societies are always mindful of the cohesiveness of their members, the existence of trust among members, and how each member of that society is motivated to contribute to the advancement of the general welfare of all members. Talking about social cohesion after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda is not possible without talking about reconciliation. Reconciliation which is about restoring a friendly and harmonious relationship between sides that have had a conflict. In Rwanda, social cohesion is seen as interpersonal trust and common values which bind people together. Therefore, in our discussion, we will be using social cohesion and reconciliation interchangeably as reconciliation processes and outcome contribute to social cohesion. Before we start, it is important to acknowledge the fact that Rwanda is one of those post-conflict situations that are so complex that very few people would be able to define in concrete terms the meaning of justice, truth, social cohesion, or reconciliation. The 1994 genocide against the Tutsi left Rwanda as a traumatized and fragmented society. Over 1 million people had been killed, thousands and thousands of victims of rape, destroyed properties, widows and orphans, physical and psychological wounds, mistrust, suspicion, and fear among Rwandans. About 3 million refugees were scattered around this country. In addition to the common Hutu, Tutsi, and Twa divisions, Rwanda was composed of RPA soldiers, those who had stopped the genocide, the ex-FAR, the former government soldiers, those who had been defeated and had not fled to other countries, in particular in the current-day Democratic Republic of Congo, Zaire as it was then. It was also composed of perpetrators of the genocide and the victims. It was composed of bystanders, those who did not participate in the genocide but who were not persecuted. It was composed of new returnees, those who had fled the country in the previous persecutions. And all these members, and to a certain, not very prominent extent, it was also composed of Francophone and Anglophone. And what is also interesting to note is that one would find him or herself in many of those divisions at the same time. It is this same complex composition of people who had to find by themselves the solutions. It is also a fact that the post-genocide Rwanda had lost trust in the international community, probably due to the fact that the international community had failed to prevent genocide when it was possible, or due to the skepticism resulting from allegations that some had actually participated in the genocide, including from powerful countries and those from individuals from UN, civil society, religious group, and the media. So political transformations that come after the fall of a repressive regime or at the end of a conflict are often faced with a number of challenges. Post-conflict governments inherit very weak institutions. Gross notes that the new government is faced with a need to look backward so as not to allow human rights violations to go unnoticed, and the need to look forward, enabling all sides to participate in the new process. Compromises are supposed to be reached on each of the following complicated issues. Prosecutions. Should we have a traditional, national, hybrid, international, or a mixture of that? On amnesty, should we provide blanket amnesty or conditional amnesty? Should we punish all perpetrators or some? In terms of truth finding, which standards of evidence is enough. What does it mean to be reconciled? Is it personal reconciliation, community reconciliation, or national reconciliation? How to conduct commemorations, how to reform former abusive institutions, and how do you vet those that occupy those institutions? Issues of demobilization and reintegration of ex-combatants, dealing with power sharing, addressing questions of reparations. Do you go for individual or collective reparation? Do you provide the material or moral or symbolic or both? In most cases, the intricate nature of these challenges overwhelm the existing resources, and how to prioritize might become another challenge. This reality is often pushes the new government to adopting pragmatic measures. It should be understandable that in circumstances where classical mechanisms do not provide the answers, decision makers are left with just focusing on finding solutions to their specific challenges, even if such alternative solutions would require ignoring certain internationally accepted standards. To borrow from Adam's statement, contexts like facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes or inclinations or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. The biggest and fundamental challenge for the post-conflict genocide society, and Rwanda in particular, was to restore security, both hard and soft, and recreate trust among Rwandans, so that all categories of Rwandans could be able to move forward together in resolving other societal challenges. From May 1998 to March 1999, on every Saturday of the week, different reflection meetings were held in the President's office, Village Rugwiro, bringing together about 200 people representing different stakeholders, including members of all authorized political parties, leaders of all branches of government, local government representatives, security sector representatives, civil society representatives, individual lawyers and bankers, to find solutions to 5 major national problems: unity, democracy, justice, economy, and security. Those reflections provided the recommendations which have helped Rwanda move from to where it was to today. In the Village Rugwiro meetings, delegates agreed that unity and reconciliation of Rwandans was going to be the foundation on which all other interventions would be based. Taking pre-colonial period as a reference period of when Rwandans lived together in harmony, the post-genocide government saw its role as that of returning some of those formerly unifying values into the new Rwanda. This is due to the fact that even if the pre-colonial Rwanda might not have been a perfect egalitarian society, the relationship between different categories of Rwandans were far better than during both in the colonial period and in the 2 republics that followed independence to until 1994. Barclay notes that even though prior to the arrival of white men, the population was far from homogeneous. However, it is the colonialism that polarized the existing ethnic groups, leading to profound antagonism between Hutu and Tutsi over the issue of who are the real Rwandans, and most tragically, to the genocide of 1994. Participants in the reflective meetings agreed that before the arrival of Europeans, Rwandans were understanding each other, and the country was characterized by unity. But when Europeans came, the seed of hatred and disagreements started being sown among Rwandans. It is from this admiration of the past that the post-genocide government perceives the reconciliation as an attempt to bring some positive aspects of old Rwanda. It was agreed that reconciliation was not going to be an end in itself. First, unity in the Rwandan context means working together, fostering good governance, human rights, rule of law, and generally improving citizens' welfare. Therefore, achieving social cohesion is seen as a stepping stone towards achieving other things such as peace, security, and sustainable development. Barclay Estes observes that locating the origin of genocide in bad governance and the impact of divisive politics, the current government responds by promoting good governance and inclusive policies. The focus on citizenship has become a vehicle for unity. Second, reconciliation is seen as a continuous process of searching for different measures combining interpersonal and intergroup approaches of social cohesion, good governance, economic development, and peaceful coexistence. The purpose of this discussion is not to assess all the reconciliation efforts in Rwanda, because such an attempt would be unattainable. We are also not intending to settle the dispute of whether Tutsi, Hutu, and Itwa are the same or not, because, as Carney notes, a century of scholarship has not resolved the seemingly simple question of who are the Tutsi and who are the Hutu, a fact that simply reminds us to exercise considerable caution when using those labels. In fact, as Chapman notes, the biggest challenge of the post-conflict political landscape is less to remove the difference between groups and more to ensure that all groups and communities may participate fully and equally, and thus come to have a stake in the new order. Our intention is to offer a certain perspective on social cohesion, probably what you can call a Rwandan perspective. Admittedly, a Rwandan perspective is too assuming, but as the truth goes, communities do not speak for themselves. It is a few of us who claim to speak on their behalf, even when we have not consulted them. Let me hope that in our interventions, we will attempt to reflect some of the true feelings of the other Rwandans. I take a break and I turn to my members of the panel. Rwanda adopted different measures, and some of which were unconventional, mainly based on Rwandan custom and tradition, with the need to combine facilitating, as I said, national reconciliation, promote peace, fight impunity, disclose truth, speed up trials, and entrench the culture of good governance, rule of law, and human rights, and create a sense of ownership. And I will ask this question to Dr. Emmanuel Hakizimana. Can you tell us the kinds of interventions or measures that were adopted to deal with the aftermath of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, specifically focused on interventions that were intended to contribute to reconciliation and social cohesion?
Thank you. It's not easy to enumerate interventions which have been done by the government of unity after genocide. They established a lot of programs and strategies to reconcile the Rwandan people, Rwandan community, with all the genocide consequences, you know. But the best thing, and the first of all they did, is to establish a good governance strategy to build administrative institutions which are very strong and free from corruption, promoting transparency and service delivery to the population. Apart from good governance, we can also mention the justice system, because genocide is, as you know, is a crime against humanity. So the justice systems which are strong which are effective, would be the key foundation of unity and reconciliation. So they established different just judicial organs, but above all, our homegrown initiative of Gachacha took the lead as far as justice is concerned. They tried more than 1 million of individuals, trying to restore the social fabric of the society. Justice was the foundation of every unity and reconciliation program, but also the commemoration of justice programs were also key because it was imperative to restore the hope and also support the genocide survivors. That is why they created a genocide victims, genocide survivors support and assistance fund to help the genocide survivors, their children in terms of education, health, and the other domains of life. Not only they established the fund, but also they also established a national commission for the fight against genocide to organize all those issues of genocide commemoration events. They all later also established a national unity and reconciliation commission to help individuals, both those who have committed genocide and the victims of genocide, come together. The genocide criminals had a place to confess their crimes, but also ask forgiveness. Under National Unity and Reconciliation Commission, they also implemented a program of Ndi Umunyarwanda. Ndi Umunyarwanda program was a program that to recall every Rwandan that the Rwandanness is our umbrella. It bypass every division, every people belonging or affiliation. Ndi Umunyarwanda is key as far as unity is concerned. I cannot forget also the commission of Itorero, National Itorero Commission, that helped the Rwandans to come back to our traditional values, patriotism, the love of our country, to consider every Rwandan as the same. National Itorero Commission, nowadays as the National Unity and Reconciliation Commission, do not exist. They are under, their responsibilities are under the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, along with Genocide Survivors Support Fund. We cannot talk about social cohesion or reconciliation only without talking about the issue of poverty. That is why in Rwanda also they created different socio-economic strategies, such as Girinka programs, to help the very poor households, but also VUP, Vision 2020 Murenge programs, within which public works are organized, and the public works are programs or actions that are implemented for every Rwandans every poor communities who find a way of finding jobs, paid jobs. And there is no, what they did under all those programs is to make sure there is no discrimination whatsoever, any kind of discrimination as it was in the First and the Second Republic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, these programs are the same programs that were reflected on at the University of Rwanda, especially in our Center for Conflict Management. Following the genocide, education and research was identified as another area that would contribute to the reconstruction of Rwanda. And that's why in 1999, the Center for Conflict Management was created at the National University of Rwanda. It was established to address the knowledge gap in the field of genocide, peace, conflict, and security through research, teaching, and service to the community. So the UR-Sweden partnership that started in 2003 also reflected on those areas where the emphasis was put on capacity building at postgraduate level and masters. And I can say that so far, 14 PhDs have graduated in peace and development studies at Gothenburg University, and 16 PhD candidates are ongoing at different levels of progress. These include 3 who are at the University of Nairobi, 7 at the University of Rwanda in Peace and Conflict and Security sub-program, 3 are doing their PhDs in law at Uppsala University, and 3 in social work at Gothenburg University. The partnership has offered 4 postdoctoral trainings, and it has also provided support to research conferences and community outreach activities. So this capacity building has tremendously contributed to the growth of the college, and at the moment, we are capable of offering our own PhD and master's programs. So the purpose of research, as you well know, is either to understand and explain in a scientific manner a certain phenomenon or to contribute new knowledge. The first PhD research topics conducted through the UR-Sweden program included, for example, understanding the resistance to commit the genocide. This PhD explored how and why, in their perspectives, some persons identified as Hutu resisted committing the genocide that was targeting the Tutsi. The pressure on the Hutu population was so high, and it was interesting that research be done to understand those who did not participate, knowing very well that they were putting their lives at risk, why they did so. And I think people understand the program Abarinzi Gihango. Peace building and social cohesion involved different approaches. You have a PhD candidate who worked on the role of cooperatives in the restoration of interpersonal relations. The focus was on whether cooperative organization played a role in peace building. Another PhD focused on understanding polarization of responses to genocide violence. The study was also identifying factors that are important in explaining popular support for genocide violence in some parts of the country and not in others. We have another research that investigated citizen participation in local conflict mitigation. So there were several PhD programs that were directly linked to the context that has been just described. But there is another interesting aspect that is often ignored, and that is living in harmony with our environment. The return of refugees, the existence of internally displaced persons, different movements of people, settlement of people in formerly protected areas, all this meant that there was going to be a conflict between formerly protected areas, water bodies, and national parks. And I wanted to ask Dr. Peter Mugume, who chose to do a PhD topic on environmental conflict in Rwanda, the role of decentralization when everybody else was concerned on human relations. So if in a few minutes, why did you choose that topic at that particular time?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, moderator, for the question. Before I can answer the question, I have had or held this belief that time, like environment, is a source of insecurity. I'm just wondering whether we are secure here in terms of time, or you believe the same. Because time is the enemy, in other words. But coming back to the question, the reason why I did this, contrary to what others were doing, human-human relationship in this social cohesion building process was one, I need peace. I love peace and security. So human-human relation, this is very important. In the post-genocide Rwanda's reconstruction process, it was important, I believed, to consider this other part. I'm talking about environment, the part which I call silent, nice or beautiful, but also dangerous. Environment is silent as an actor in social cohesion. I think it is very important, beautiful for social cohesion, because if it is abused, if it's not abused, it is an important factor. Yesterday, in the presentations that we saw that climate change, for example, is likely to be a problem. It reminded me of an article that was produced in 1994 by Robert Kaplan, what he called the coming anarchy. So, like human-human relations, environment is very important aspect in building social cohesion. And as you, or most of us know, we now have this environmental social sciences, which makes environment a very important actor in social cohesion, especially when you are building, especially in post-conflict or post-genocide context. And for Rwanda's case, for example, this has been an issue, as you probably have read or discussed. So it was really an issue, and I wanted to see how does this issue, considering that the governance process in the country, which I mentioned, here is the importance of the rights of people, rights of refugees to be back in their countries. You rightly mentioned what happened when these so-called old case refugees came back in 1994, when they were resettled in part of the former national park, the Kagera National Park. That was part of addressing the issue, but if abused, it could affect the environment. Yesterday we saw how now the wildlife tourism is the third source of our GDP, which shows the importance of these resources. So economic transformation was very important. You cannot transform the economy without considering the environment. So it was really an important aspect on that front. And leaving that apart, it can be an issue, a spoiler of social cohesion, if the environment is abused, if natural resources are abused. That is why I touched upon this often considered tool of the governance of decentralization to manage the environmental issues. How does it work when it comes to addressing the environmental issues? Because of the risk of time, permit me to stop here. Thank you very much.
It's unfortunate that we don't have much time, but I want to ask Dr. Ajay, because the question people might be having now is, where is Rwanda now? How far have we achieved what we intended it to achieve now 28, 29 years down the road? And probably if you could also tell us a little bit of the current challenges.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alphonse, for the question. I know you're not generous when it comes to time. I would try to keep my answers very short, starting from the very last aspect of your question. Where are we now? I would like to remind the audience that this is a reconciliation in a post-genocide context. It's not a reconciliation following spousal quarrel or conflict or an issue related to demarcation of land. It's all about a genocide. So how far are we? Rwanda has made very impressive progress, but we still have serious challenges, if not threats. Impressive progress because I'm not going to go into the Rwanda Reconciliation Barometer, which is a quantitative tool of measurement of reconciliation. We rather focus on qualitative aspect because I believe this is mainly a qualitative concept. Now, we have achieved impressive progress because if you look at social interactions across the country, you realize that we have many connecting spaces, whether around socio-economic interests, such as cooperatives, whether around faith-based grouping, prayers, choirs, whether around sport or agricultural activities. So we have several connecting activities. If you connect this to the key indicators of reconciliation, look at ownership of the process by the population, local initiatives, the understanding of the concept, you realize that we are making very visible, remarkable progress, but we still have challenges. I will come back to that. Now, but before I go to challenges, I wanted to highlight a key aspect. Reconciliation in a post-genocide context is a permanent objective. We cannot pretend to have achieved it. What we can do is only promoting it, is making progress towards that permanent objective, but we cannot pretend to have achieved a level where we don't need to devise new messages, revise strategies. I think Dr. Emmanuel referred to this. We used to have a number of transitional justice mechanisms, including the Gacaca, the National Unity and Reconciliation Commission, which were later on closed, but a new ministry in charge of national unity was created 2 years back, which means we need to adjust strategies as the context itself changes. Now, in terms of challenges, research points to 5 key challenges in this journey towards reconciliation. Challenge number 1 is related to the lingering genocide ideology, whose circulation is being facilitated by easy access to social media, particularly among young people who use social media as the unique source of information. Therefore, it is very easy to manipulate them, and it is very easy for them to circulate what they receive through social media. The other challenge is related to economic vulnerability. As you all know, reconciliation is variable. For it to happen, you need to do something else, including working on the economic space, improving the living standards of the population, and so on. Issue number 3 is related to unhealed wounds of the genocide. Maybe I will stop there. I know we have a psychologist. The unhealed wounds, a research that was conducted by Rwanda Biomedical Center in 2018 shows that 27% of genocide survivors display post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a very high percentage in terms of, I know she will elaborate about this. Unhealed wounds includes also this trauma that we have at the society level, but the society, the government of Rwanda, partners, civil society have been developing strategies, including multi-family healing spaces where you bring genocide survivors and those who perpetrated genocide and create a space for them to exchange, to discuss, and to create this dialogue that, of course, improves the relationships. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me quickly now to progress sort of chronologically. What are the current interventions, if I may ask Emanuela? What are you currently doing. In particular, you can also reflect on the role of civil society and more particularly the role of faith-based organization as someone who is coming from that background.
Thank you. What we are doing now, we are focused on the recent problem we have. We are happy from where we come from, but now there is a still challenge, like people have mental health disorders, and especially for genocide survivors. And also we have intergenerational trauma in our community. We have also a big number of genocide perpetrators are released. And now they have the problem, mental health problems, especially for our youth. They have also problems, they have wounds. Youth from mixed parents, they have wounds of rejection. They are not accepted in their families, either for mom or for dad. They are not accepted. And also the youth from genocide perpetrators, they grow with shame from what their parents has done. Now what we are doing, we are working, we are supporting them during group therapy, discussions, individual therapies, and there is also peace education initiatives to support those kind of Rwandan people. Thank you.
I will be not doing justice if I don't give an opportunity to the audience to ask some questions, even if I will not take many. But given the fact that some people this is their first time in Rwanda, they have gone to the memorial site, and probably they have certain questions, and which they might be wanting to have them answered, but I know more will come later in their interactions and reflections or through their readings they might make afterwards. Before I do that, I will invite, because in this research journey we've been collaborating with the University of Gothenburg, and I would want to invite Gunira and Gustav, if each one of you can take 1 minute or two to just explain a little bit about your experience working on these topics before we can allow in any other question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Molifo, and thank you so much for all panelists for an interesting discussion. And thank you also very much for inviting us to this celebration. It's an honor to be part of this big program. I'm also, in particular, proud of being part of the sub-program Peace, Conflict and Security that has been there from the beginning of this collaboration, and where people are constantly working for social cohesion from different aspects. I'm also grateful to actually get an opportunity to say something about the benefits of this long cooperation, not necessarily connecting to the subject all the time, but I still would like to take the opportunities. Because I think this program is so much more than research results. It's a long, long journey of learning. And and capacity building on both sides. And looking back at these 20 years, I am convinced that it has had a tremendous impact also on our department. We have had Rwandan students for nearly 20 years present, and also visiting staff. And this has definitely had a big impact on the department. And I even have the feeling that Rwanda and CCM, Center for Conflict Management, is imprinted on our walls back home. It's part of our identity, our DNA even. The PhD students have contributed enormously to our research program at the department in peace and development in many, many different ways. We have had to rethink our content, courses, structure, supervision, and so on, and developed a great capacity. And I also think that this local program that has just started will help CCM to build a very solid program here that they can continue to run without our contribution. And we have, of course, also benefited a lot from the research and the enormous amount of knowledge that these 14 graduates have produced. And many subjects have been mentioned already, but I would like to mention a few more, like agricultural reforms, food security, state building, environmental conflict, that was already mentioned, gender equality in rural Rwanda, informal financial institutions, reconciliation, etc. And as you see, these topics feed into all the sub-programs here and all the disciplines. So I would like to recommend everyone to get in contact with our graduates for research cooperation and to get a social science perspective on the work. Then also talking the other way, imagine how many travels we have been doing for 20 years, so many people at the department who have been involved. And together with all the knowledge that has been produced by the graduates, I think we have gained a rather deep knowledge about the Rwandan society, development, and people. And this is, of course, also reflected in our education and teaching and research. And Gustav is going to say a few words about the research.
In 30 seconds or 1
yes,
minute.
Very quick. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to add to Gunila's talk. I mean, of course, this collaboration has been given us many opportunities to do research also outside the CETA funding. So we published on national ownership and donor involvement, commemoration, and many of these topics. And besides that, as Gunilla said also about the identity of our department, I think it has really, shaped our department in Gothenburg. And also, of course, given us an advantage, let's be honest with that when we seek funds from funders for our research, of course, it's good to have this knowledge, experience from this collaboration. And finally, one thing that I think is important to raise is the fact that we have also, during 20 years, made a lot of social bonds and great friends in Rwanda, which I have valued very high, and it's also very good for the collaboration to have a well-functioning partnership. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. I think I would be not given lunch if I keep these people here and the MC is requesting me to leave. So let me request each one of us here to meet whoever that might have a question as we go for lunch. Now I give myself a right to announce lunch, to interact and respond to whatever question you might be having. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. I know that we are a little bit behind the schedule. Thank you again for this. Give them a round of applause for this session. This was trying basically to link with, especially those who were at the memorial site this morning. You can link this trajectory plus what has been explained in the morning. So on our schedule, we are remaining before lunch. We are remaining with one item. If you could bear with 10, maximum 15 minutes. We are not going to ask questions. He's going just to give us, and it's only one person from the National Institute of Statistics. He's going to present to us the trajectory of Rwanda through numbers. I think this is also important. And we will make sure that your lunch is still available. This is confirmed, and I've already confirmed. So Ivan is a Deputy Director General from the National Institute of Statistics. As you may be aware, the National Institute of Statistics basically gives us more data and is mandated to provide different statistics from different sectors. So Ivan is going to go through. I don't think I need to go through his detailed biography, but just to let you know that his name is Ivan Murenzi. He's the Deputy Director General of the National Institute of Statistics. He's a statistician, policy economist who has worked with the government institutions, policy think tanks, like Institute of Policy Analysis and Research, which is the IPA. He did a number of consultancy with the private companies. He also serves as a board member of the Central Bank and also particularly a member of a Monetary Policy Committee, which is also meant to guide the government on different monetary policy decisions. Ivan, you have 15 minutes to take us through, and we really appreciate again for your positive response.
Thank you, MC. What a tough task I have at hand. I'm standing in between lunch. So I'll embrace the marathon or the fast track I'm going to take you on. And I can guarantee you it won't be boring. So if the slides can be put ahead. As the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, we have the mandate to compile all official statistics across all sectors. And Vice Chancellor, it's an opportunity for us to be here with you. Thank you for inviting us. We work very closely with the University of Rwanda. We also actually work with the Swedish Embassy in Can talk of maternal care at urban and rural especially, and we see well over 90% women able to access assisted delivery by skilled provider, and this has affected fertility, which is another key indicator we track, now at 3.6%. And when we look at fertility again by urban rural, there's a bit of variation, but still we have a downward trend, which is very important given the population growth we're experiencing. So what does that result to in terms of well-being is as an improvement in life expectancy. Right now, life expectancy in Rwanda is 69.6 years. That's been quite a progress looking at the last 20 years where we're at 51%. So these socio-economic improvements, access to various services, and the development of the economy in various sectors, ultimately should point to something like this. And this is a very key indicator in terms of looking at well-being. So I think that's it mainly in terms of the presentations. As I conclude, having made this big speed of sharing with you numbers, I can say two things. One is that, speaking of the context of this conference that's going on, statistics are very key to track development, and I'm happy that this has been about research and looking at how it informs policies. We as the Office of Statistics have been partners, and we continue to take that responsibility to provide available statistics for research. We do work closely with researchers in the University of Rwanda, make data available to them and make it known. And yes, there's been progress, but also there's challenges in those numbers. And I trust that these slides will be shared with all of you for further engagement. I want to lastly say that as our slogan at the Statistics Office, if you don't count, you don't count. And what that slogan means is that if we don't take time to measure things, then those things won't be relevant. And I'm sure you are doing the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you for the presentation. So we will share this presentation to all participants. So, but we are still with him over lunch. Whoever has a very burning question, you can approach him. So we don't want to take more time. Maybe let me talk about the two announcements as we move to lunch, but let me ask you to stand up so that you are sure that we are going. At least. So, two announcements. One, we are going to have lunch, of course. So lunch is going to be served the same place as yesterday. And better you go there with your bags, your material. We are not coming back here. Two, there are those who have confirmed to visit Norsken Innovation Center. This is going to happen at it's going to happen at 2:30 to 4:30. And then we have also the dinner or reception hosted by Her Excellency the Ambassador Tig, which is going to be at Swedish residence. Those who have received the invitation and confirmations, they will be picked up from the hotels at 6. And then the reception starts at 6:30. There is also a lunch meeting with all vice chancellors invited, which is strictly for vice chancellors, and also the head of Africa, and also the one in charge of research unit at CEDA. This is going to happen now at Serena Hotel. It's better you stay here after the group photo. Then we give you the protocol to guide you where to have the lunch meeting that was announced yesterday and today. So may I invite everyone for the group photo as we leave? Do you like it or not? So, group photo, and then we have a very quick one as we move. Those who are going to have the Vice Chancellors invited for the lunch meeting, they will stay here. Then the protocol will take charge of where they have to have that meeting. Can we do this quickly? Group photo. 2 minutes. If you are left, don't blame me for the picture. So some can stand here. Let's use this space. And then we are going to have also those who received the awards of recognition. They will also have another picture with the Vice Chancellor and the Ambassador of Swedish in Rwanda, of course. So others can come here behind. Okay, I'm going to count. If you are not there, then you are left. Count up to 3. 1, 2, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, 3. Camera, straight. Are you done? The camera? I said 3. You are done, tell me. I don't see everyone smiling. Maybe you can remove that one. Okay, let's have now those who have received the awards of recognition with the Vice Chancellor and the Ambassador. Only. And then if you did not register, please today, make sure that your name is on the registry. So let's have this one, a very quick one. Those who received, yes, here, yes. Maybe you can bring your gifts. Oh. Okay, quick one, camera. May I count as well? 1, 2, 3. So please, have you registered? Let's go then. Let's go for lunch and make sure that we respect our time. The Vice Chancellors strictly invited for this lunch meeting can stay here.